Do you remember the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, He'll Want a Glass of Milk? And that slowly opened up Pandora's box to complete and utter chaos. Well, the same thing can be said if you switch out Mouse and Cookie with Lincoln Riley and viable quarterback recruit. Because last night's game against Louisville was the breakout performance of Miller Moss that every USC fan wanted to see. Let's talk about what this means for the Trojans' future as they enter the Big Ten in 2024. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus anything going on with coaching searches, the transfer portal, national championship news, and a bunch of other nonsense, make sure that you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on Miller Moss's epic performance against the Cardinals' 42-28 victory. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, college football aficionados, and USC fans everywhere about this channel because we're on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking college football daily. Continue to follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. I call it Twitter. Elon calls it X. I don't really care what you guys call it, but that way the conversation of college football never has to stop flowing. There's something about Lincoln Riley with his ability to see the power of what a quarterback can be and really the upside of what any quarterback can bring to the table. Because it doesn't matter if it's a dual threat player or a pocket passer or somewhere in between that is manipulative behind the line of scrimmage, he gets the best version out of them. And there is no difference when it came to Miller Moss last night in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Everybody got a front row glimpse about what entails for the future of the USC Trojans. And for good reason. Guy threw for over 360 yards, not to mention had 11.3 yards per play, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, all Holiday Bowl records. Oh, and he basically ended any conversation about you adding in a premier name via the transfer portal. Thanks for stopping by, Will Howard. We wish you the best in your future endeavors wherever you may land. Cam Ward, we hope that you crush it in the ACC, but there's no availability at the Inn in Los Angeles anymore. Miller Moss is taking over. And Malachi Nelson, everyone wanted to talk about what big of a deal it was for him to transfer after 1 season. Yeah, he left because of just the same reason Dylan Gabriel left Oklahoma. It's a new era coming to the likes of LA, and everyone knows who's running the show, Miller Moss. This is big for USC because of now you have a baseline moving to a brand new conference. And I'm not going to say that next year they won't be competitive. I love the additions of what they brought in defensively on the coaching staff with guys like D'Anton Lynn and Matt Entz and Doug Belk. They've done the part to, I think, fortify an area of weakness to where they won't find themselves in a situation where they have an elite quarterback, a stable offense, an offense that's able to score early and often, and then they basically have to win in shootout fashion. They've done the part. But this is still the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is filled with bullies. And I'm not talking about Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan. I'm talking about bullies up front, like defensive linemen that are second stringers in Nebraska, or offensive linemen who are second stringers for Northwestern. They're big, they're physical, and they know how to outwork you. And you don't have that right now at USC. But if you're able to add in the right talent, maybe you'll be a headliner next season. But no matter what, this is a baseline for what you're looking for in the future. Because you have your quarterback that's probably going to be there for at least 2 years in Miller Moss. Not to mention you have young up-and-coming wide receivers, guys such as Mekhi Lemon, guys such as Zachariah Branch. Dorian Singer is probably coming back for another season. Deuce Robinson had one hell of a grab for a 44-yard touchdown. That's your tight end of the future. And so all these players now in Lincoln Riley's system will have a year to grow, flourish, prosper, and really build that cohesion of what you're looking for an offensive identity moving forward. You know, it's really easy to say, oh, you can just win with offense. In the Big Ten, you can't. And in the SEC, you can't. Ask Ryan Day about that, where he just thought for years on end, I'm going to outscore everybody. And literally the entire Big Ten went, okay, try it. And it always went bad. And every single time you had to win in shootout fashion. So you have to make the necessary moves. But once you have the quarterback, I would say 50% of your job is done when it comes to the recruiting process, or at least stabilization of your roster. Now, if you wanted to go out and add in a veteran quarterback, I would understand why. And let me explain before people come jumping down with the pitchforks and saying, how can you even say that? Because every great team has stability at the quarterback position, whether that would be a good backup who's qualified, coming over as a transfer, graduate assistant, or somebody that's on the come up that you're excited to see if they have to come in and start. The last thing you want is to not have continuity behind a guy like Miller Moss next season. But The good news is that because of what you saw, and especially in an era of NIL where we know money talks and it's going to carry a lot of weight of where kids land, you don't need to go out and splurge to get a quarterback when you have a young gun on campus that you can grow and build with for the foreseeable future. So you look at Alabama this past year, they had Jalen Milroe, and then they go out and they bring in Tyler Buckner. Buckner never truly was the starter, but you felt comfortable if you had to start him for one game. That's what USC should be turning its attention to. But you watched last night. Touch, poise, pocket awareness, stability, accuracy, all these little tidbits that stand out for Miller Moss were perfect. They were absolutely exactly what you wanted to see from a quarterback that runs Lincoln Riley's system. And there's another part that really is infuriating right now because Twitter exists and it's really annoying. But many people last night, Caleb Williams was a product of Lincoln Riley's system. Or here's a better way to look at it, because if I just find that completely asinine. Maybe the system works for quarterbacks and you end up getting the best version of them. That's the way that I view it, because now there's a proof of concept that it works well past just a guy like Caleb Williams. You know, Baker Mayfield won a Heisman Trophy. He's having a resurgent year in Tampa Bay. You look at a guy like Kyler Murray, won a Heisman Trophy, won Offensive Rookie of the Year, also has been a very stable quarterback out in Arizona. Jalen Hurts led his team to the Super Bowl last season with 1 year underneath his belt. And Spencer Rattler had the tools. It's just Caleb Williams was a little bit better. So eventually they decided to bench him, and he ended up finishing his career in South Carolina, where he wasn't really the problem for the Gamecocks. So sometimes the quarterback benefits from the system, and the system benefits from having a quarterback that knows how to run it. That's the way that these two things coincide right here. Miller Moss is a product of what Lincoln Riley desires, and he knows how to elevate and turn his status of play into something promising for the foreseeable future. And now you'll have years to build with it. Look at Caleb Williams. It wasn't like he just came over from a different university and said, hey, Lincoln Riley, show me how to play quarterback. No, they had 3 years to build a legacy and turn something that was probably going to be promising at Norman, Oklahoma, into something that at least offensively was successful out in Los Angeles. And now you get that same guy, or a guy of that skill set with good accuracy, good mechanics, a nice throwing motion, unafraid to go ahead and uncork it downfield for the foreseeable future. This is big for a program like USC as they enter a new stage of their era in college football. And this is really big for the future of the Trojans when it comes to finalizing what they want to be in the Big Ten. You have a young quarterback that you're going to be able to build your roster around. And more importantly, you got a guy that you think has everything that is needed to win a national championship. Now it just comes with building around the pieces surrounding him, because that's the other part of the job. Great offensive line, excellent defensive front, stability at the wide receiver position, get him as many pass catchers as possible that are going to fortify this offense. But you got that, you're in a really good spot. Miller Moss made magic last night in San Diego against Louisville. And more importantly, I think he showed USC fans what's in store for 2024. And if you don't like it, well, you might want to moss your way out of here, because I have no idea what you're going to get better than a guy like Miller Moss leading the show. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.